Listo. Good morning. My name is Rosa Maria Nayeli Tenorio Mora. I'm the classroom teacher implementing this research project at Colegio Mundial de Puebla, ACE. We are excited to present our research title, Improving Our Oral Performance Through Gamification. This presentation is about our study on the use of game-based learning to improve oral performance and reduce speaking anxiety in A1 fifth graders in elementary school. This research is being conducted as part of our professional training in the Licenciatura of la Enseñanza de Lenguas, opción inglés, at Benemérita Universidad Autónoma de Puebla. The team includes myself as the classroom teacher, Eliana Munive Motolinia and Monica Natalie Sanchez Espinosa. Our teacher coordinator is about real students in our classroom who deserve to feel confident speaking English.
Thank you, Nayeli. I am Eliana Munive Motolinia, and now let me provide a detailed information about this presentation. The full title of this research is The Use of Game-Based Learning to Improve Oral Performance Through Gamification in A1 fifth graders in elementary school. We are presented by Eliana Munive, Tenorio Rosa Maria Nayeli, and Sánchez Espinosa Mónica Natalie. We are from Facultad de Lenguas, studying Licenciatura de Enseñanza de Lenguas con opción inglés en la Benemérita Universidad Autónoma de Puebla. We are email addressed and we are providing the screen for any more who would like to contact us with questions or for more information about this research.
Thank you. Well, I am Monica Natalie Sanchez Espinosa. I am an English coordinator, and let me guide you through what we'll cover today. Our presentation includes introduction, where we explain the problem we identified, the general objective, explaining why we are doing this research, the literature review, the theory supporting the work, the teaching model, how we are implementing game-based learning, the placement stage, the context and the challenges, the implementation, or methodology and participants. Preliminary results, what we found in week 1, conclusions that the data suggest, limitations, recommendations, and an honest assessment of our study. And references, the source we use. By the end, you will understand why this research matters and what we expect to find.
Very good. Now let me describe the problem that motivated our research. In our fifth grade English classes, we observed something concerning. Most students simply do not speak. They remain silent during speaking activities, even when directly asked to participate. Through carefully observation and conversations, we discovered several factors. High anxiety about making mistakes. Many students say, I'm scared to make mistakes. And if I say something wrong, the teacher will think I'm stupid. Low confidence in their English abilities. Students have convinced themselves their English is not good enough to speak. Limit English exposure outside the classroom. At our non-bilingual school, students only hear English in my classroom. There are no other opportunities to participate. Fear or peer judgment. Students worry that classmates will laugh at them if they speak in English incorrectly. The result is a vicious cycle. Students remain silent. They don't participate. Their skills don't improve. Their anxiety increases, and they remain more silent. This is a problem we are trying to solve.
Now let me explain our objectives in detail. Our general objective, this initiative aligns with the school mission to prepare students to communicate effectively and make responsible decisions in a complex world. It allows us educators to apply theoretical knowledge from our university, trying to create meaningful improvements in our students' English learning outcomes. And our specific objective is This research project aims to promote oral performance and resource speaking anxiety, developing their communicative competence and willingness to communicate. Our setting, it is formed by A1 fifth graders from elementary school. They are 19 students between 9 and 10 years old. Most of they are kinesthetic and visual learners. They study at Colegio Mundial de Puebla. This is a not bilingual school. Our research questions, the first one is, what effects do game-based activities have on the oral performance of elementary EFL learners in a non-bilingual school context? The second is, how does game-based learning influence students' motivation and willingness to communicate in English during classroom activities? The next, what changes in classroom participation can be observed after the implementation of game-based instruction in the EFL classroom? And the last one is, how do the fifth grade below level students perceive the use of games as a strategy for learning and speaking English?
Thank you, Elena. Well, now to the literature review. Our approach is grounded in the solid education theory. Let me explain the key concept. First, Crusher's affective filter hypothesis from 1982. Crusher argued that emotional factors like anxiety and stress create a filter that blocks language learning. Even if the students understand the grammar, if they are too anxious, their brains don't absorb the language. Games work to lower this filter. They reduce anxiety and create enjoyable emotions. When students are having fun and feeling safe, their brains open up to learn. Second, Cannell and Swain's communicative competency theory from 1983. Language learning requires four components: grammatical competence, sociolinguistic competence, discourse competency, and strategic competence. Games develop all four components simultaneously because they require students to use language in real, meaningful ways. Third, game-based learning benefits research consistently, shows games increase motivation, they create safe learning environments, promote peer interaction, and create memorable learning experiences. Fourth, multiple intelligences and learning styles. Game activate different intelligences simultaneously. When we use role play, we engage linguistic intelligence, body kinesthetic intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and logical mathematical intelligence. Games also appeal to visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners all at once.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica. So now, let me explain our teaching context. Our context is Colegio Mundial de Puebla. This school is a non-bilingual system. We work with 19 students in fifth grade, all at A1 level. The invention lasts 8 weeks. Our topic is, what challenge do humans face? Focusing on the grammar structure, will and want. The simple future. We are using the language law textbooks by Richmond, and our methodology is game-based learning. Challenge identify that we notice is the speaking anxiety. It's high, really high. And the low motivation is low. So there are limited opportunities for meaningful communication. The context is not relatable to students. The post-intervention assessment that we work at, we will conduct our students interviews at A1 level, anxiety and confidence service, gains and motivation service, speaking improvement service, and general service. Our task is to transform these challenges into opportunities by using games to make English practice anxiety-free, engaging, personally meaningful, and authentic.
Thank you, Naye. Now let's going to talk about the games that we implement during the first week. We implement role plays plus flashcards, where the objective was to learn action vocabulary. The students act out actions from the classmates to guess. The movement and physical activity reduce their anxiety. During the week 2, the role play plus balloon game with the objective to practice will and won, as Naya said, with responses. Questions were hidden inside the balloons. Then students popped them and answered them. It was playful and exciting. During the week 3, role play plus TPR, we play Simon Says with the objective was to define the future events. Students through 7 role play combined with the group discussions about global challenges. Video-based activities, comic reading and acting, and furniture-teller activities where students write and share predictions. As we progressed, the activities became more sophisticated but remained playful and low pressure. The key strategy was the role played is integrated throughout to provide anxiety reducing meaningful communication practice.
Thank you, Eliana. Let me explain in our research implementation. So the participants, 19 fifth grade A1 level students, one teacher, Najeli, implementing the intervention, 3 teachers, researchers collecting data, which is Tenorio, Nayeli Tenorio, Eli Munive, and myself, Monica Sanchez. As we took the data collection methods, in week 1, we completed pre-intervention student interviews with all the 19 students. We do the WACA or WACCA anxiety scale baseline, and this validated the research instrument. The CEFR fluency assessment baseline for our school year, we took that as a start. And then we have the anecdotal observation notes tracking classroom behavior, weeks 2 through 8, which we are currently doing. Weekly observation notes, game preferences, documentation, participation tracking. And on week 8, we planned post-intervention student interviews, again with the WACA or WACCA anxiety scale for the post-test, and a CEFR fluency assessment post-test to comply observations and the notes. This mixed methods approach, combining quantitative data with qualitative data, gives us a comprehensive picture of whether our intervention is working.
That's right. Now, let's look at our baseline data from week number 1. So we assess our student speaking fluency on a 4-point scale. Level 1, developing, many pauses, very slow, hesitant. So the level 2, as we can say, emerging. So some pauses, a slow to moderate pace, and the level 3, as we can see, developing, fluency. Few pauses, moderate, and pace. The level 4, it's fluent, minimal pauses, natural pace, and confident. Our results were like 8 students score level 1, that's 42%. The 7 students score level 2, that are 37%. Then we noticed that 4 students score level 3, that's our 21%, and 0 students score level 4. So the average of the class, it's 1.8 out of 4. So this is poor fluency. So we care about that. So every student struggle with fluency. The majority, 79%, fell into the developing of emerging category. When asked to speak, so the students paused frequently, spoke very slow, rely heavily on teacher prompts to continue. So this confirms that these students desperately need fluency. building practice, and exactly what we providing through game-based role play activities.
Thank you, Nayeli. Now we're going to check what about the anxiety data, so which was striking. We administrated WACA, Foreign Language Classroom Anxiety Scale, and we validated research instrument used worldwide. Highest score mean more anxiety. Baseline results, high anxiety from 20 to 25, 12 students. It was 63% of the class. Medium anxiety from 12 to 19, 6 students, 32% of the class. Low anxiety, 5 to 11, it was one student, the 5%. Class average WACA score 19.2 out 25. It indicates high anxiety. Nearly two-thirds of our class experiences high anxiety about speaking English. Even students, if they are medium category, are still quite anxious. This quantitative data perfectly confirms that we observe quietly. Students are genuinely afraid to speak, according to Krashen affective filter hypothesis. This high anxiety creates a filter that blocks learning. Our job over the next 7 weeks is to lower this anxiety through games so that students' brains are open.
Thank you, Ellie. Now I want to share with you, sorry, there you go. And I want to share with you the actual words that our students said in interviews because their voices matter most. When we asked the students about their anxiety and confidence, here's what they told us. I am scared of making mistakes. If I say something wrong, everyone will know that I am stupid. The teacher will think I'm stupid. I don't speak because my English is bad. These quotes capture the emotion reality. It's not that they don't understand grammar, it's that they are paralyzed by anxiety. When we ask about motivation, 14 students said not really, or it's boring, low interesting. 5 students said it's okay, or and neutral. 0 students said I really like it. Not genuine enjoyment. When we ask what activities they enjoyed, 16 out of 19 mentioned games and interactive activities. Only 3 mentioned traditional grammar exercises. Students are not unmotivated about learning, they're unmotivated about the way we are currently teaching. But here is the silver lining. When we ask, would you like to learn English using games? 16 out of the 19 said yes. That is 84% of the class. A student said, games are fun. I would participate more if we played games. Games make me less nervous. This is exactly what we need. Games are the key that will unlock their willingness to communicate.
Exactly. Thank you, Monica. So let me tie everything together. What week one data confirms is high baseline anxiety is confirmed. 63% of students in high anxiety range. This is a real documented problem. Low baseline fluency is confirmed. 1.8 out of 4 average. Students clearly struggled with fluency. Students want to participate but are afraid. Anxiety, not lack of ability, is the barrier. So games can address this. Students are interested in games. 84% express interest. Our intervention will be well received. What research predicts, based on existing game-based learning studies, games reduce anxiety by 15 to 30%. Games increase oral participation by 40 to 60%. Students show measurable fluency improvements over 8 weeks. Preliminary conclusions are these. The baseline data strongly supports that game-based learning can address the identified problems of speaking anxiety and low oral fluency in our students. The high anxiety and low fluency we measured align perfectly with what we observe in the classroom. The students' interest in games suggests strong engagement. Our hope is that by week 8, our students will have transformed from silent, anxious learners to confident communicators.
Perfect, Nayeli. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to explain about what happens for the next week. So during the week 2 through 8, we have a plan. Nayeli will continue implementing increasingly complex game-based role-play activities. During weeks 2 to 3, simple role plays with concrete vocabulary. During weeks 4 and 5, complex role plays with opinions about challenges. In weeks 6 to 8 to 7, create role plays with comics and problem solving. During week 8, review and final assessment. During these weeks, we will monitor the participation and continue adapting based on the feedback, maintaining weekly observations, celebrate students' progressions, and during the final week, the assessment, positive intervention students interview. The same questions as we asked in week 1 and measure them. Did anxiety decrease? Did the confidence increase? Did games help? WACA anxiety scale readministration measuring change from week 1, looking for students to move from high to medium or from medium to low anxiety. And CEFR fluency assessment readministration assigned fluency improvements in pausing, peace, and confidence. Observation notes summary complementing all weekly notes to document challenge across 8 weeks. Data analysis compare pre-test and post-test scores. Calculate the percentage to improvement. Analyze interview responses. Look for correlations. Draw conclusions from games-based learning effectiveness. This will answer our main question. Did game-based learning successfully reduce speaking anxiety and improve oral performance?
Thank you, Eliana. So before we conclude, it's important that we acknowledge the limitations of our study and share what recommended for the future research and practice. Limitations of our study, well, first, we have a small sample size. It's N is equal to 19. We studied only 19 students in one class at one school. So while this is meaningful for our classroom, we cannot generalize these findings to an EFL learnings of all the schools. Different contexts and teachers might have different results. To strengthen this finding, we will need to replicate the study with multiple schools and larger student groups. Second, a short duration. This is 8 weeks, and 8 weeks is a relatively short intervention period. We expect measurable improvements, but no long-term studies which show whether improvements are sustained and whether students maintain confidence once novelty of games wears off. Third, the single teacher, Nayeli. Only Nayeli is implementing this intervention. While this ensures consistency, we don't know if other teachers would achieve the same results as she does. Teacher personality, teaching style, classroom management, and a rapport with the students all affect outcomes. Fourth, non-bilingual context. Our school is non-bilingual with limited English exposure outside of the classroom. This is both a strength and a limitation. Our findings might not apply to bilingual schools or schools with more English exposure. And the fifth, single grammar topic, we are focusing only on will, won't, the simple future. We don't know if game-based learning would be equally effective for other grammar points. 6, no control group. In rigorous research design, we would have to have a control group, another fifth grade class learning the same content without games. Without this comparison, we can definitely say that improvements were caused by games rather than other factors. The seventh is that the limited student background information. We don't have detailed information about individual students' differences that might affect outcomes. Socioeconomic status, learning disabilities, previous English exposure, family education level. More on, we have only fluency measured. So we are not focusing on speaking. We are only focusing on speaking fluency. We're not measuring other aspects of communicative competences like grammatical accuracy, vocabulary range, or sociolinguistic appropriateness. So recommendations for future research would be that first, they or whoever wants to continue with this, they would need to test in multiple schools with larger groups. Further research should test game-based learning across different schools with different teachers in different communities. Another one could be that they should conduct longer-term studies, track students over a full school year or longer to see if the benefits persist. Also, they should include control groups, design quasi-experimental research with both experimental games and control traditional groups. Another one is that they should test different grammatical topics, replicate with past tense, conditional, future, perfect, and so on. Also, measure multiple outcomes, assess fluency, accuracy, vocabulary, listening, writing, pronunciation, and overall communicative competences. They should also compare different game times, investigate role play versus digital games versus board games versus cooperative games, about students or about all of these other different games. They should also include deeper student perspectives, conduct focus groups, and detailed interviews about student experiences. They should also examine teacher implementation research and how different teachers adapt and implement games effectively. They should also analyze peer dynamics, investigate whether students' anxieties affect different based on peer relationships, and the group composition. Also, they should conduct a cost-benefit analysis and provide practical information for schools about predation time, materials, technology, resources, and teacher training needed. In our context, while acknowledging this limitation, we can confidently say in our fifth grade class at our school with our students, we can show a baseline anxiety in a low frequency. Students are interested in learning with games. Our theoretical framework supports game-based learning. In the coming weeks, we will document whether this approach produces measurable improvements. These limitations don't mean our research is invalid. They simply define the scope of what we can claim. So science progresses through multiple small studies like ours, each adding pieces of the puzzles. Our contribution is providing evidence that game-based learning has promise in an EFL context with anxious learners. This concludes our presentation, and we are very grateful for your time. Over here, we have some of the references, and we really appreciate it. I don't know if Najeli or Elena have any final words to say.
Thank you very much. And we're going to continue improving this research.
Yes, excellent. Thank you very much. And as we can say over here, creating safe spaces for language learners to speak one game at a time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.